Somewhere right now, someone is eating something that is by any biological definition attacking them. Their eyes are watering, their nose is running, their mouth feels like it's on fire, and every signal their body can send is screaming one single message. Stop. They keep eating anyway. They'll order the same dish again next week on purpose, for fun, and go looking for something even hotter after that. No other species on this planet does that. Not one. Scientists have tested this again and again. Give a rat food laced with capsaicin, the compound that makes chili peppers burn, and it eats it exactly once. After that, it avoids the substance for the rest of its life. Dogs sniff a chili, recoil, and never go near one again. Every mammal researchers have studied learns the same lesson the same way. Feel it once, walk away, never look back. Humans are the one species that felt it and leaned in. Here's the strange part. Nothing is actually burning. There's no heat, no real tissue damage happening anywhere in your mouth. Capsaicin binds to a nerve receptor called TRPV1, whose entire job is detecting genuine heat, the kind you'd feel from touching a hot stove. Capsaicin just hijacks it, tricking that receptor into firing exactly as if your tongue were being scorched. Your brain gets a full 5-alarm fire signal from a mouthful of vegetable. The scientist who mapped out exactly how that works was David Julius, and in 2021, he won the Nobel Prize in Physiology for it. What his research showed was that pain and heat run through the same wiring in your nervous system. Capsaicin doesn't invent a new sensation. It breaks into a system built for something else entirely and pulls the alarm. Which raises an obvious question. Why would a plant evolve a molecule whose entire purpose is triggering a false fire alarm in anything that eats it? Because the pepper isn't trying to stop everyone. It's trying to stop one specific group. Peppers need their seeds spread somewhere new, and they need those seeds to survive the trip intact. Mammal teeth are a problem for that. Flat molars built for grinding food into paste, which pulverizes a pepper seed right along with everything else. Birds are a completely different story. They swallow seeds whole and pass them out the other end intact, sometimes carried miles from the parent plant. So the pepper needed to repel one group while staying invisible to the other, and capsaicin does exactly that. Birds have almost no sensitivity to it at all. A bird can eat the hottest pepper on the planet and register basically nothing, while a mammal gets the full alarm every time. The ecologist Joshua Tewksbury documented this pattern directly in the field, watching birds feast on wild peppers that squirrels and other mammals wouldn't touch twice. The plant built a lock. Only one kind of animal happens to hold the key, which means every time you eat a chili pepper, you're voluntarily disabling a defense system millions of years in the making, one built specifically to stop mammals just like you. So why is our species the glitch in that entire system? Here's something worth knowing first. Nobody is born loving spicy food. Babies who taste capsaicin for the first time react exactly like every other mammal on Earth. They cry. They push it away. If a taste for chili were written into human biology from birth, every culture on the planet would have discovered it independently, at roughly the same rate. They didn't. Entire regions barely touch spice, while others build nearly every meal around it. The psychologist Paul Rozin spent years studying that gap, watching children in villages across central Mexico, where chili shows up in almost every meal. What he found was that liking it wasn't automatic there either. Small children rejected it just like children anywhere else. It took years of small, repeated exposures, usually mixed into food by parents in tiny amounts, and gradually increased, before a child's reaction shifted from rejection into genuine enjoyment. A taste for chili isn't handed to anyone. It gets built, one exposure at a time, the same slow way people work up a taste for coffee or beer, both of which most people also hate the first time around. Part of what makes that shift possible is a trick your own body plays on itself. When it registers what it thinks is real damage, it responds the way it would to any injury, releasing endorphins to dull the pain and dopamine as part of the reward. Normally, that combination exists to help you survive something genuinely painful. But because some part of you knows the chili isn't actually going to hurt you, your brain gets to enjoy the rush without any of the real consequences. Rosen gave this effect a name: benign masochism. The same basic mechanism behind roller coasters, horror movies, and jumping out of a plane with a parachute strapped to your back. Your body reacts like you're in danger. Your mind knows you're not. Somewhere in that gap, a lot of people find something that feels a lot like pleasure. That still doesn't explain why entire regions built their cuisines around chili while others barely touch it. In 1998, researchers Jennifer Billing and Paul Sherman went looking for a pattern in traditional recipes worldwide, comparing spice use against climate, and the correlation was almost too clean. Hot countries use dramatically more spice than cold ones, sometimes many times more, and the reason has nothing to do with flavor at all. It's bacteria. Meat spoils faster in heat, and before refrigeration existed, that spoilage could genuinely kill you. Many spice compounds, capsaicin included, turn out to be measurably antimicrobial, slowing the exact bacteria responsible for food poisoning. Cultures in hot climates that leaned into heavy spicing weren't just chasing flavor, they were protecting themselves. And over generations, the habit hardened into tradition, then into identity. And once that habit took hold, it didn't stay in one place. Chili peppers evolved entirely in the Americas, cultivated by indigenous peoples in Mexico and Central America for thousands of years before anyone outside the continent had tasted one. That changed almost overnight when Christopher Columbus landed in the Caribbean in 1492, actually searching for black pepper, never found it, and brought chili back to Europe instead, convinced he'd discovered a new kind of pepper entirely. From there, it spread at a pace that still stuns historians. Portuguese traders carried chili seeds to Africa and India within decades, and by the 1500s, dishes across India and Southeast Asia were already built around a plant that had never existed anywhere outside the Americas a century earlier. So the same molecule a plant engineered specifically to repel you turned into comfort, tradition, and identity, and rode that transformation across the entire planet in a few hundred years. Every other mammal alive still obeys the warning exactly as designed. We're the only ones who found a way to turn that warning into a craving, then built entire cuisines and identities around chasing it. If this changed how you'll look at your next plate of wings, there's a lot more of this kind of science ahead, and subscribe, because the next one might rearrange something else you assumed was just taste.